What's up? Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing, beautiful people? What's up? What's going on? Chilling, chilling. It's a beautiful Saturday. Yeah. Hello. It's
Hey there.
connecting. Hey, there you
Hi, we're connecting
go.
now. Hi. Okay.
How you doing?
So, how are you doing?
Wonderful.
So I want everyone to know, I want everyone to know that I asked, how do I pronounce your name?
Ginseng Point de Jour. So my full name, my
Oh,
last, yeah,
Point de
Point de Jour,
Jour.
but I go by de Jour for short. So Point is
De
kind of
Jour.
like
Okay.
too long. So yeah, I
Okay.
just say
Okay.
just say ginseng du jour.
Ginseng de Jour. Okay,
Yes.
I got that right. Okay. So I normally go live on my live for the Indie Spotlight Philly, but we were having a little technical difficulty. So we have pro mixed martial arts fighter and personal trainer Ginseng de Jour, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay. How are you
I'm
doing?
wonderful. How you?
Nice. Where are you currently residing at?
Pompano Beach, Florida, which is southern Florida. Like 7 minutes from Fort Lauderdale and 25 minutes from Miami. So right in the Broward
Awesome.
County area.
Awesome. So, I wanted to say thank you for being very reachable, for me being able to reach out to you and have you on the
Thank you.
show.
You've been on point, reminding me and everything. You're very professional. I'm a very forgetful
Thank you.
person, but I didn't forget.
Well, you're really busy, right? You
Yes.
do a lot of stuff. Like I look at a lot of your stuff on Instagram and I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
I'm
like
always doing something.
so your last name, is it French? Are you Haitian or
Yes,
some like
I was born right outside of Port-au-Prince, Haiti, in a small city town called Léogâne, which is like I'll say 20, 15 minutes from Haiti. I mean from Port-au-Prince. So I was born there,
oh,
yeah. And
awesome.
then I came to this country, to the United States, at the age of 7.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Do you know how to pin your name to the bottom, or well, I'm sure
Um,
people already know. If you hit, well,
yes,
I put your name up there so you can
I
pin that if
will.
you want.
It's been a while since I've been online, but I believe, uh,
If you can, I mean, people already know who you are. But
yeah, I
I
think,
normally do that on mine. That's all.
yeah, you know what? I forgot how to pin. I think you, ah, I used, oh, let me see.
It's fine if you
It's
can't pin
cool.
it. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. So I wanted to ask, where can people find you at on social media? Like, how
Um,
many social media accounts do you
I
have?
have two, but I'm mostly active on this one, Ginseng 7, Roll With Us. But I have another one called Quick Coach. I'm gonna write it
Mm-hmm.
down right now. Quick Coach, KWK underscore. Yeah,
Awesome.
Quick Coach underscore, which is my company. I started right last year. For personal training.
Great,
Yeah.
great. So, how long have you been a mixed martial arts fighter?
Oh,
Like, tell
wow.
us a little
I've
bit about
been actually before mixed martial art, I used to do bodybuilding. I was always
that.
active
Oh,
as a kid, and when I got in my early 20s, I started doing bodybuilding. I was inspired by the gentleman named Devon Owen Clark from Mount Vernon, New York. I used to be in a group home in the Bronx, and he was one of the staff. I think he had started working there when he was like maybe 20 or 19 years old, and at the time I probably was like 15, and he always inspired us to do push-ups, pull up, being top physical peak, and I look up to him like a little brother. You know, he was like my older brother. I was the little brother. We had the same kind of cornrows. He used to take me to get his hair done. And sadly, when I left the group home, he passed away. He got murdered by gun violence. And I
oh,
just took
I'm
on that.
sorry.
Yeah. And then in his memory, I started doing bodybuilding. And one day I was at the gym and I was like, hey, I want to compete. I didn't really know too much about it. And I started working out with these bodybuilders and I competed for about 4 to 5 years, won a couple of trophies. And I got to a certain age, I was like, okay, I'm getting too swole, I'm getting too big, I keep changing wardrobe. And I was like, I want to do something more challenging. At the time, I was watching UFC, and
Mm-hmm.
I started training a little boxing, but nothing too serious, just to get in shape because I couldn't really find an MMA gym. And at the time, I was
Mm-hmm.
living in Charlottesville, Virginia. And while I was in the boxing gym, Joe, this guy Joe in Charlottesville, Virginia, I used to go to his house. He took a little boxing spot, nothing too serious. And I was working at a group home, and one time I was restraining this young kid. It was almost the end of my shift. I was restraining this kid, and then he didn't want to go to bed. I didn't want to leave the staff like just like this. And I got hit while doing his restraining the kid, and I got hit. Man, it happened so long ago. I got hit in my left top of my eyebrow, which is like 2 stitches. I went to the hospital, 2 stitches. It was nothing crazy. I was not mad at the kid. And the next day, I started having this really bad headache, like extremely bad headache, and feeling nauseated. I was throwing up. I still went to work, and then it was like, nah, go home. When I left home, I went home for a little while, and then I went to my second job, which is overnight working at this lockdown facility. And then the headache wouldn't stop, so they sent me home. And then I went home. I was like, yo, this is bad. So I was in my apartment. I started throwing up. My eyelids started bleeding. The skin. I caught a bad flesh-eating bacteria, syphilitis, or something like that. And we all have it in our skin. We all have that type of bacteria in our skin, but rarely it happens. It goes inside your bloodstream, and then you catch this bad infection. So 16 hours passed. I'm in my apartment. I tried to fight it off because I was supposed to go to New York. I was like, oh no, it'll go away. I'm tough. And then 16 hours later, I'm like, man, I'm over here vomiting, crawling, going in and out. And then I called one of my friends. I was like, hey, man, I don't think I'm going to make it, so come get me. So they came and got me and went to the hospital. And they was like, I could have lost my eye. I stayed in the hospital for like 10 days. And it started my eyes started swelling to
Oh.
the size of a baseball, like a softball, like the Elephant Man. If you ever seen a picture, that's what I look like. And then it started transferring to my right eye. So it was putting pressure. And then the doctor was like, it's either we cut your eye out or you're going to end up dying. And I was like, nah, I don't like that. I'm not trying to look like a pirate. And then he was like, okay, think about it. I was like, okay, give me a chance. Let me think about it. And then a day and a half, and then it started turning. I was always in good shape. He was like, it's a good thing that you're in good physical shape, or else I would have lost the eye. So I returned my eye. I kept my eye. So during that time, I'm like, okay, I want to do something. I just experienced a life and death situation, and I choose life. And I know God always had my back. God always have my back. And I told God, like, this is what I want. I want my eye. It doesn't matter what. There's nothing gonna happen to my eye. So they did like 2 surgeries. My eye was okay. It took like maybe a year and a half, 2 years for I could actually start seeing pretty good. It still bothers me now. You can see it's a little red when I sleep on my left side,
Mm.
which I favor more. So when I wake up, all the sun, and so it's still a little bit blurry. But the funny thing is, when I fight or I train, it doesn't bother me at all. In the beginning, it used to because for some reason people used to punch me in that eye. But I learned my
Mm-hmm.
good defense, so I don't get hit too much doing training. So now it's good. It's not the same. It's a little droopy. I think I might get surgery when when I'm done with fighting, or maybe not. So so during that time, I was like, when I was in the hospital bed, I was like, yeah, I need to do something. And I've always wanted to teach. I live to inspire everyone, whether young or especially young kids. And being from Haiti, seeing poverty first sight after the earthquake and everything else, I wanted to do something to give
Mm.
back. Because I was one of those kids. I was small in stature when I was at a group home. I did all that. Kids thought I was a nerd. They tried to pick on me, but I was never a punk. I used to always fight. But I was the kid I used to fight back for the nerds, for the kids that used to get picked on. And I was like, what better
Wow.
than to give that back is to teach people martial arts, especially the young people. It doesn't matter what age. So, and I thought to myself, how I'm gonna teach fighters, not being a fighter myself. I mean, I used to have street fights in group home, but that's different. And it just hit me. I was like, one day I was watching a UFC fight at this bar, and then there was a coach there, and I approached him. He said, "Hey, you got into a fight?" I was like, "Nah, not really. I caught an infection." He was like, "Hey, come in the gym." Dave Morris. I went in the gym, met him, and then within after that, we connected. 6 months later, I was in the ring fighting within 6 months of training, and then from then on, I never looked back. I was fighting like 4 times, 4 to 5 times a year, and I became the DMV 135 champ. I became the champion 135 champion in Charlottesville. And
Well,
for
congrats.
yeah, Operation Octagon, I went and fought for them. I lost that year, and then the next year they called me again. They was like, "Hey, we'd love for you to fight again." And I end up finishing the guy. I got cut for some reason. I got elbowed. The guy cut me right here, really bad. First round, I was leaking, but I ended up winning the belt at the DMV area, which was a good startup promotion. And I wanted better training, and then that's one of the reasons I moved here. I have family down here also, and plus, Florida, Southern Florida is a city. It's vain. At first, I always liked Florida because it kind of reminded me of Haiti a little bit. The culture. It's a vain city. People like working out. People like looking good. It got its ups and it got its downs. And for what I do, there's a lot of people who sought that. There's a lot of gyms out there. And also, one of the things I don't like about Florida is the poverty level. You see Lamborghini, you see rich people, you see yacht, and then like a few blocks away, you see poor people. It took me a while to get used to that. Like, people have the amount of wealth and then the amount of poverty hand in hand within a few minutes of not even a mile, like half a mile from each other. And yeah, that's how I end up here.
Well, you have a
Yeah,
very,
it's
very,
crazy.
very interesting story. A very, very interesting story, and very inspirational, I must
Yeah,
say.
thank you.
I think like I came across your profile like when we was in lockdown. I was like, these people are walking around in tip top shape, and we were like in COVID, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it didn't affect them. I'm like,
Nah,
no.
nah. We been over Florida, been
So that's
open.
awesome.
That's one of the good things living. I love living down here. I
Yeah.
really. It's not only because of my culture. There's other people culture, and it's a fighting town. This is a fighting town.
Hmm.
Bare knuckle, MMA, jiu-jitsu. It's a sports town also.
Sure, sure. And the weather is always good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And everybody,
Sometimes it rains a
yeah.
little too much, but the weather's always nice. And people come down here, don't know how to drive, and the ignorance is on all-time high. Because boy, I tell you, there's some ignorant people that live here. You know, oh my goodness, the drivers and the ignorant, oh, they so ignorant sometimes. But it is what it is. It's a big city.
Great. So, do you have any? So, I want to ask, do you have any merchandise for sale, or are you currently doing your services like at a place, at a center, or at a gym? And you could tell us a little bit about
I
that.
don't, but the future plan is for me to own my own gym eventually. And it's a little bit
Uh,
more difficult than I thought living down here because everything is so expensive. I tend to go to my clients, or we work out on the beach, or I go to their house, or I meet them at a local gym, or sometimes I go to my gym, which is a fighting gym, Fight Sports Deerfield Beach. We the first MMA gym down here, and I train some people at my gym, and I help my coach Daniel Mendez, Jay Z. Sometimes I help them teach class, the Muay Thai class in the evening. But as of right now, I'm a freelancer. Whatever they need me, if it's not too far away, I'll be like, okay, let's train on the beach. Let's go to Boca. Some of my clients stay in Boca or Fort Lauderdale, so I'll travel.
wow,
Yeah,
wow. And I was like, wow. I was like, lucky he's like in Florida, and not where I'm at. Like I'm
yeah,
all the way in
yeah,
Philadelphia, PA, but a lot of your videos and everything
yeah.
is
Philly
interesting.
got good
Um,
boxers. They got good boxers in Philly.
yeah. um, so do you currently work with any organizations, or is there any organizations that you would like to work with? Because I
Um,
know you work with a lot of like like with a lot of youth that were at risk and stuff you were telling me about earlier.
yeah. As of right now, I would love to, but right now, nah, it's just me. I have some people that call me. I forgot one organization. Actually, it was one of my a friend of mine through. I cornered him one time. He was having a fight, and then he asked me to come and help him out. But sadly, he passed away a few months ago.
Oh my goodness.
I really didn't know, and then they contacted me through Instagram, and then they was doing something for him, and I ended up working with them. I ended up teaming up with them, and just to help him out, they was gonna fund him for him to open up his gym. He already had a gym, but it was gonna be something much bigger. So right
Wow.
now, I talked to them. They was like, once they finish dealing with something else, they're gonna help me out to get like some grants and
Yeah.
some grants to open up my own gym. And Nico, his name is Rico. Rico, I'm sorry, his name is Rico. And he ended up passing away in front of his gym actually. Some guy, I don't know the full situation. Rest in peace, Rico. He was another Haitian
I'm
kid,
sorry
and
about
yeah,
that.
it really hurt me because he was such a cool cat. And I guess he had beef with some kid, and the kid wanted to fight him, but he's a martial artist, and he told
Mm.
the kid we could get in the ring. They fought in the ring. He beat the kid up, obviously, real bad. And after the fight, I guess the kid was saying some stuff while he was walking away. He pulled a gun. He shot him, and then as he was running away, a car hit him, and then he ended up passing away like just a few blocks from his gym. Yeah, so you hear
Wow.
stuff like this happens often in Florida, Southern Florida. I mean, throughout the country, but it really hurt me because he was such a cool dude. We helped each other out at times. He'll hit me. I'll be like, "Hey,
Wow.
Jen, come help me teach." In Miami. He was from Miami, Dade County. So that kind of really hurt me. But I'm gonna try to work with the same people to get this grant, and we'll see. You know,
Definitely. We're definitely hoping that, everything works and you getting like your own gym and everything. And where do you have so right now everyone follows you on Instagram.
yeah,
Do you have a Facebook? You have a Facebook?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Ginseng du jour.
So
Yeah,
Saint
that's my
Digital.
face.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
that's my
so
name. My Facebook page is my name.
great, great. Do you have a YouTube?
Yeah, I do, but I barely. You know what? Ginseng
You
Seven.
really
Ginseng Seven is my YouTube. Yeah, you'll see some of my
okay.
old fights on there. Actually, I have a few videos. If you type in Ginseng Seven, you'll see a whole bunch of videos of me fighting and some of my videos in there. I don't use it often, but I'm always on YouTube. Since we have Instagram, it's a lot easier to just post the videos on Instagram, and so I barely use my YouTube. But I do have some of my old fights spanning from 8 years ago, 9 years ago, in my YouTube. Ginseng Seven.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
I noticed that as you were telling me about a lot of your friends that passed due to gun violence, I noticed that is a huge issue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania too, as well. And what better way is an outlet for like at-risk youth, but like MMA fighting and like stuff like that, which
Uh,
would be a great outlet. I hope to see more like young people do that.
it's funny. Somebody asked me the same, very similar question when I went to Rico. I tell them like it's even though I teach people martial arts, self-defense, MMA, I can't really. It's just making better decisions, staying away from certain people, certain areas, because even it's, I wish I had a better answer. Even though you you can, but at the same time, I truly believe the issue is a little bit bigger. The issue I feel like is that times have changed. A lot of people are more egotistic. A lot of people are more
Hmm.
emotional, but it's always a good thing to learn martial art to defend yourself. But that doesn't mean
Yes.
like you may not go home because once they find out you know how to fight, they're gonna shoot you, and that's the mentality
Right.
of the generation now. It doesn't matter how good you know how to
Hmm.
fight, and sadly, I don't
Right.
care how much you might be a very good martial artist, but you cannot win. You cannot bring a fist fight to a gunfight. You're gonna lose all the time.
Exactly.
You're gonna lose all the time. I wish I had a better answer, but for the more realistic, I think it's just the nature of the culture. At least back in when I was growing up, back in the 90s, 2000, living in Queens, living in Brooklyn, we were actually living in the Bronx. If you want to fight somebody, you'd be like, hey, give me five. Let's shoot the five. Give me 5 minutes. You'll fight and then you
Yeah.
dap it up. Now the culture is different. If you
Right.
actually listen to the music, I'm not blaming it on the music, but at the same time, the music, the drugs, the whole element of the environment have something to do with it too. People more
Definitely.
easily get upset, lack of self-control, which martial arts actually help. I say put your
Yes.
kids in martial arts at a very young age. But we live in such impoverished community where, single mothers or single fathers, like they don't have the time to schedule. The mother's always working, or the father's not present, or the father's in jail, whatever the situation, they don't have time to put their kids in there. So let the streets and also the music influence. And I realize like a lot of people feeding into the killing each other. If you listen to the music, 90% of the rap, I will not blame it on rap, but at times we gotta put the blame on something. If you listen to 90% of the hip hop nowadays, is actually promoting Black death. If you listen to certain music, like I'm just giving an example, but like Shayrenee or all these other high artists, that's what they rapping about. You have a lot of rappers or street dudes that's becoming rappers now. Or the drill music is actually, you know, telling us to kill each other. Like, don't let nothing slide. Somebody step on your toes. Somebody, hey, what's up, fake black belt? Somebody just bump into you. It's especially in the South where guns are so easily to get right now. And I feel like martial arts really help. In a one-on-one street fight,
Oh, yeah,
martial arts really help. It helps you to stay
definitely.
calm. It helped me a lot because I mostly use my words. And when I'm in public, I feel confident. I feel like nobody's gonna hurt me because, I know how to protect myself. I'm a human weapon. I'm very confident. I don't mind fighting. I like to fight. But at the end of the day, when I'm in the streets having fun, I'm not thinking about that. A lot of people ask me like, oh, how does it feel being in martial arts? You're in the street. How it feels like you somewhere you could beat everybody up. I was like, I don't really walk around with that type of energy, with that type of mindset, because when I'm in the gym, I get humbled all the time. There's people in my gym beat my behind. Some days I might beat them up, and then the next day I might have a bad day and they beat me up. And I have a coach, he constantly beat me up all the time. So I'm always fighting, I'm always training in the gym. But when I'm out in the street having fun, I'm not thinking about like bumping into somebody. Even if somebody bump into me, I'll be, oh, my bad. Because I let all that aggression out already, you know?
Right, right. I do agree with you. I think it's a great way. It would be a great way for a lot of at-risk
Yeah,
youth to be
definitely.
able to channel
Some
and
type of
process
sports. Yeah.
what they feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like what they feel. And like you said, that can go through Miss Martial Arts, that can go through music and dance. But being someone that like went to school for music and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
that is true because now instead of the actual person pushing the culture, it's actually the culture
Exactly.
pushing the artists to do certain
Yes.
things because it falls into play. And they
Yes.
think that if you talk about something that makes sense, that it's not sellable. And that's what the music industry, a
Yes.
lot of parts of the music
Yes.
industry
Yes.
looks at, things that are
Yes.
sellable,
And
you
and
know?
and when I was younger, my pastor Larry Davidson, he used to tell me, like, be careful. Even in the Bible, like I realized being young, when I was young, my grandmother raised me ever since in Haiti, more of a Protestant Christian mentality. And even when I was young, I was reading the Bible, and at one time, Larry Davidson, which was one of my pastor, my youth pastor, he was like, if you want to gain wisdom, you have to um you have to read the book of Proverbs. And since I was like 15, 14, I was reading the book of Proverbs. It has such, I mean, it expanded my mind to a different level, not to be easily angered. Like judgment is mine, save the Lord, always killing people with kindness. Those little things helped me as I got older because I grew up in the system. I truly understand. But I feel like nowadays we have a lot of culture, which is the woke culture, where the average grandmother now is like 40, 45 years old, maybe younger. They don't take their kids to church anymore. They don't guide them. Even if you do take them to church, it's really not the same. You don't have that same grandmother, that praying grandmother that instilled these things in you. So it's not just the music, it's also the family dynamic, you know? Like we don't go to
Hmm.
church as we used to. And I kind of understand why people don't go to church because the church becoming a money thing now. I understand all that. All they'll say Christian is a white man religion, and I truly understand all that. Really, it's not. Christianity kind of like started in the Middle East and Africa. We could go, the first Christian was African, Ethiopian. We could go through all that. And I understand, and I tell people there's two things of Christianity. There's white supremacy Christianity, and there's true Orthodox Christianity, which is African people been practicing in the Horn of Africa forever, since the beginning in the Middle
Hmm.
East. And I was like, you have to differentiate. There's such germs in the Bible that I use myself, life lesson, like David making decisions, Solomon, and all these things. and I incorporate that in my life. And also, you have to be responsible for yourself and look at yourself in the mirror. Like, am I okay living that way? Am I okay living in a certain life or living in a certain lifestyle? You know, it's not just physically, mental health. It's mental health, spiritual health, and physical health.
Mhm.
And you know,
Yeah.
we have to learn how to master all that. We'll never master all that altogether, but the closer we get. And I used to not believe in perfection until I heard like perfection doesn't mean you have to do everything perfect. Perfection is to be complete in everything, mentally, physically, and spirituality. So if I'm on a journey right now. Well, martial arts, physical, and spiritual. I'm on a journey to the point where I wanna. It's very difficult, and I get challenged at it almost all every day to love people unconditionally, whether it's my family, my loved one, or in a relationship. And unconditional love, to me, there's agape love, there's brotherly love, sisterly love, but unconditional love is more of a challenging for me because I'm willing to
Yeah.
love people that I don't even know. I'm willing to love people that I know that might hurt me, you know, and that's why I'm a
Yeah.
big follower of Christ, you know, like Yahshua, Jesus Christ. And one of the things I came to realize that he loved people unconditionally. And when you love people unconditionally, you always put yourself in a position to get hurt. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's a double-edged sword. I realize at the same time, if I love people unconditionally, I have to love myself unconditionally. Now, if I love
Yeah.
myself unconditionally, if that person hurt me, I have to learn how to separate myself from that person because I love myself unconditionally. And I'm learning to love that person unconditionally. And it also said in the Bible, that person could repeatedly hurt you, forgive them. But at the end of the day, you could forgive them and
Yeah.
treat them like a tax collector. Not to like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to get back,
I
but
think
like, you know, be like, okay, I'm gonna stay away from
yeah.
them. And I had to
Yeah,
do that with some
you can
friends.
yes, like yeah, you can remove yourself from a bad situation. It's
Yeah,
nothing, no harm do.
yeah.
But I think that you also have a lot, not only of you being a personal trainer and you being a mixed martial artist, but you also have a lot of inspirational things to offer
Oh, thank you.
because of like your life, what you've been through, and all those type of things. Have you so I'm hoping that I'm hoping that I see I'm hoping that I see like more of you
Oh,
in and out of the in and out of the ring. And I really feel like you're going to be really successful
thank you, thank
with
you,
your gym and
thank you,
everything.
thank you, thank you so
I guess
much.
that's a big piece of a manifestation, but
Yeah,
I can feel
it will.
like
Appreciate it. I
you're
received
coming
that.
for
I received that. Thank you
it.
so much. Appreciate it.
And I hope that in some way, shape, or form that I'll get to see one of your fights
Definitely.
in person or get to
Oh,
meet you or some way or shape or form.
yeah.
I'm
Since
just
you
not inviting
mentioning
you
that,
back.
I've been fighting for so long. Sometimes I'm very bad at telling people when I'm fighting. I'm fighting in
Yeah.
Orlando, July 24th. Combat night. For the promotion comeback. I'll post it up. I'll post some more. I do a horrible job of posting stuff when my fight I've been fighting for so long. To me, sometimes it's really not a big deal. And I'm my biggest critic at times. I don't want to disappoint people with fighting. It's just too much. So I'm fighting July 24th.
Same.
July 24th, which is about 3 weeks in Orlando, Florida. So yeah. So yep.
Wow.
135. So I got a couple of pounds to lose. So I gotta start cutting weight after July 4th. After tomorrow is no games. I gotta start running a little bit more, watch what I eat. So right now I'm walking around 155. So I gotta cut down to 136 or 35.
Wow. How tall are you?
5'7" and a half, almost 5'8". So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm not short for my division. I'm
Mhm.
not the tallest, but like I'm more in the middle. I'm a little bit bigger, but not too big for my division. I'm a little pretty long for my division. You see that I fight somebody sometimes
Okay.
taller or a little bit shorter or more stockier than me. But because for my division, I'm pretty lanky.
No, those fights are something. Those
Yeah.
fights are
Oh
very
man, I
something
love it.
serious.
I love it. It's
Something
that
serious.
part of me. You know, MMA is controlled violence. It's very violent. I tell people that all the time. It's very violent. I don't really call it as a form. It's a martial arts using every part of martial arts into one. That's why it's called MMA. Stands for mixed martial art. But it's a very violent sport. You know, we
Yeah.
teaching you how to actually kill people and hurt people, break their arms, break their bones, bodily harm is very violent. There's part of me that really like, I don't know what, but I like that. I like boxing. I like all types of contact sports. And when I'm in there, it's just a switch. It's like kill. It's like, yeah, it's like kill or be killed. You know, like he's trying to kill me. I'm trying to kill him. Not literally, but sometimes you actually feel it when somebody hits you hard. You be like, oh my goodness, I'm in danger. But one of the things I like about it, it's like I can't really explain it. I've never done drugs in my life, not even smoke weed. No, I don't smoke weed. I don't drink alcohol. But I think my high is fighting in the ring. I've never felt like something like that in my life. Like it's such a good feeling. I feel nervous before I get there. I get scared. Sometimes I talk myself out. I'm like, what you doing? You 40 years old. You fighting guys that's like twice, 25 years old. MMA is a young man's sport. Fighting is a young man's sport. What is you doing? I don't want to fight. And some days I just want to go home. I've proven myself before, but I have all the skills and I'm very aware of the danger. A lot of people don't understand is I'm very well aware on the danger. Even when I'm fighting and I'm getting beat up, I got cut and I'm like, okay, I need to do something. Like blood leaking. I was like, okay, I got to advance my position. I'm not knocked out. He's beating on me. I'm very alert. I got to advance my position. I got to advance my position. So I talk to myself. It makes you feel alive. You realize you have a new respect for violence, for control violence, and for hurting people. Like even in the street, I'm real cautious. Like, man, if I hit this person, they might hit their head or bump their head and stuff like that. So you have
Wow.
respect how violent the sport can be, and just respect for human life in general. You know,
Wow.
yeah. But it's a good
That's a
feeling though.
really good.
And it doesn't love the sport doesn't love no one. You got to the highest of the highs, but the lows are like much greater. Everybody love a winner, when you knock somebody
Right.
out, and then when you get knocked out, and then,
Yeah.
I'm knocking a couple of people
Right.
out, it feels good knocking somebody out. Few times I knocked somebody out. And then when you get hit, you get knocked out. I got knocked out before, but never been put to sleep to the point like I'm cold unconscious. I've been knocked out feeling dizzy, like, oh man, I got hit where I'm at. And then I'll get back up and they stop the fight. But
Yeah.
when you get back home, you feel like you let your team down. Like it just fighters go through so much, and then you get the depression state. Like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm depressed. I could have done this. I could have done that. And then I tend to go in a little bit of depression every time I don't win a fight. I sit home. I start
Mm.
eating certain things, but eventually I go back to the gym. This is my passion. I'll go back in there. I'll go back in there. Yeah,
Nice.
fighters, and I tell everyone out there, if you have a fighter, and support is very big because like they go through a lot of like mental barriers, mental break, mental everything. It's so mental, and a lot of people make fun, oh, don't get knocked out. That's the worst thing you could say to a fighter, and people don't understand. Like, yo, you better give me a ticket. I don't pay all that money just to see you get knocked out. Like they don't understand. You're like facing a
It
lot.
comes with the
Yeah,
territory. That's one of the
yeah,
possibilities. It's
and
just like you being a singer and they be like, well, you better get a
yes,
record deal. You
yeah.
might not get it. You'll get turned down. That's
Exactly,
part of
in
it.
front of
It's
everybody.
funny.
And I met some fighters like I know some fighters they don't have that kind of. I go through emotional roller coasters when I fight. I know some fighters they don't have that. They just can't wait. I'm like, yeah, they can't wait to kill somebody or beat somebody up. I realize I'm not that fighter who get hyped. I'm not. I'll listen to my music or I'll just pray. I'll pray, pee for some reason. Whenever I'm about to fight or walk out, I start peeing a lot. I guess because of the water I'll be drinking. It's just a lot of mental stuff. Like, what are you doing here? Like, you have to fight yourself. And then, but once I get that walk, I start walking and I see the cage. I see my teammates. Once that door closes, it's like a switch goes on. Like, bah! Oh yeah, this is what I live for. Let's go. You hit me, I hit you.
Oh,
Yeah, it's different and you bring everything back into memory because we train all the time. It's almost muscle memory. A friend of mine fought last
right.
night in Miami, Kenley and Batman. Kenley, he's another Haitian guy. He's my teammate, man. This dude is such a hard worker, and he fought a guy that had 300 and over 300 fights, a Russian guy. That guy fought kickboxing and boxing. And he was in there, man. The first round he was getting beat up, and he turned it around. He dropped the guy. They went on the floor. He almost had the win. And then the second round, you could tell the guy is a vet. The guy came in, caught him with a couple of liver shot, and then his body just couldn't take it. He tried, and you could see, man, he worked so hard,
Um,
man. But
Wow.
it's part of the game. You win some, you lose some. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. So I just wanted to say, so now so that I'm wrapping up the interview, I wanted to say thank you, for coming. Thank you for coming on the Indie Spotlight Philly. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your knowledge.
Mm.
And I want to thank everybody that came in and watched and came and then supported. And I'm hoping to see you fight, see you fight, see you on TV, see you all in
Thank
real
you
life.
so much, and same to you.
And also see you build your gym.
Thank you, and many blessings to you also. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for reaching out to me, remind me, posting and stuff like that. You are very professional. Like, you're good at what you do, and from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate it also. Thank you for reaching out to me.
Thank you so much. You will be able actually to watch. Hopefully I'll be able to upload everything to my YouTube page, the Indie Spotlight Philly, and to just hopefully and to just save the live. I don't know if I can save the live or if you would be saving the live when you're in to go to IGTV.
Thank you. I definitely will.
Thank you, everyone, and you have a
Thank
great night.
you. Good evening. See y'all. Thank
Oh,
you.
good evening.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. How you end this day? Oh, there you go. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thank you, Sharif, from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate y'all. Those of you that tuned in. It's been a minute since I went live. Well, I usually go live because I'm kicking bag or helping somebody else, but not for an interview. But that was pretty cool. Appreciate y'all for real, for real. God bless. Peace.